I know. What's your house smell like? Welcome to Mornings with Mona. We're in our last week of our series on finally finding time with Jesus, for Jesus, your spiritual 2019 reset. What does your house smell like? Like, do you ever go into someone else's house and you're like, man, it smells so good in here? Like, you want to go in. You want to go in because it smells really good. And have you ever been in a house where you didn't really even notice the smell, but you noticed the environment? Good morning, Joy. You notice the environment, and you're drawn to it. You wanna linger in it. You wanna stay in it. My daughter Mallory had called me the other day, and she was hot. Her brother had burned her brother Max, they lived together, and he had burned a sweet potato in the microwave. I'm not quite sure how you do that. Maybe it was the oven, but it seems like she said the microwave. He had burned it in the oven, and he didn't really take care of it. The smell, that was really, really heavy, and he left town. He went out on a gig, and Mallory was hot. She came home from where she had been overnight, and the house smelled like smoke, like unbelievable. Her roommate, the other roommate, said, hey, it was so bad that you couldn't see from the living room into the kitchen. Like, it was that bad. The smoke was that bad. I mean, Max just left a mess. I don't know why he left a mess, but he did. And Mallory was angry because not only could she not get the smell out of the house, she couldn't get it off of her clothes. Like, she smelled like it. She said, Mom, I smell like cigarettes. I don't even smoke. And she got to work, and she had the smell on her. She smelled like what her house smelled like. You and your family smell like what your house smells like. And I'm just not talking physical smoke. Mallory wanted to smell like what she was, and she wasn't a cigarette smoker. She wanted to smell like she smells. She wanted to smell like the person she is. Your kids and your man and you smell like the environment you live in. So spiritually, you know where I'm going with this. Spiritually, the environment of your home and the spiritual aspect of your home is what you take out when you go. You know, I like the phrase homemaker. I don't have a problem with it. You probably don't either. As stay-at-home moms and work-at-home moms that follow me and, you know, I talk to. Yeah, I don't mind the name a homemaker. But I like the word home cultivator better. I'm a cultivator of home. There's just something about that is alive and shows activity and growth and nourishment and just smells like good dirt, you know? Cultivating. You just know it's going to smell really earthy and good. So as the cultivator of your home, you might need to clean some stuff up spiritually so that your kids and you smell like Jesus, that you smell like the love of God, that when people come into your home, they feel the peace that surpasses all understanding. That God said that Jesus said, I'm going to leave that with you. I'm going to leave the peace that surpasses all understanding. He said he'd leave it with us. So if he was leaving it with us, do people feel it when they come into your home? Are we a fresh fragrance to the people around us when we're out of our home or even when we're in our home? Well, we've been told by God that we are a sweet fragrance to him. So are we a sweet fragrance to one another? Next month, we're going to be talking about finally finding time for your man and your marriage. And we're going to be talking about those relationships in marriage. But I want you to not right now think about what part of your home needs to have some cultivating, that you need to go in and clean things up a bit. Let me tell you a story about a king in the Old Testament. Now, his name was Hezekiah, and Hezekiah was a righteous king. He was a good king, but he was not raised by a good king. He was raised by an evil king, a really bad guy. And, we're talking God's people here. So God's people in the Old Testament, well, some of them were good and some of them weren't. Some Christians are good and some Christians kind of frankly smell. King Hezekiah wanted to have his reign and what he was going to leave the people and the way he was going to lead the people. He was going to cultivate that land that God had given to him, and he was going to cultivate it for God and for good. You've been given land. You have. The land of your home, the land of your marriage, literally the land that your home is on. I'm going to tell you about that in a minute. But King Hezekiah wanted to make a change. So you know what he did? He went in and he cleaned out the temple of all things that were evil, that were pagan, that were hurting the people that he was leading. He cleaned them all up. And then he encouraged them and he talked to them. He spoke to them and he said, I'm cleaning all this out. I'm getting rid of the high places and the pagan idols and the worshiping altars of other gods. I'm cleaning that all out of the temple of God. And I am going to make it a sweet fragrance in that temple, a sweet place where God's presence is and the love of God and the peace of God is. And he said, I want to encourage you to clean out your homes so that it's the same. And this will be pleasing to God. And this is where King Hezekiah started. He started by cleaning up the stink, cleaning up the environment that, kind of felt weird. I'm sure it wasn't good. You can't clean up everything in the culture, and you certainly can't get all the culture out of your home. But you know what? You can decide what is going to be in your home and what is going to be, what the environment's going to feel like. Good morning, y'all that are popping on. You're going to have to go back and watch the replay at the beginning. It's good. It's a good story. So how do we do that? How do we cultivate our homes like King Hezekiah did and like my daughter Mallory had to? She certainly had to. She had to go into that house, and as cold as it was like 20 degrees in Asheville. And she had to open the windows, and it was uncomfortable. The smell was uncomfortable, and the cleaning up was uncomfortable. She didn't like it. She even had to bring in some stuff that she didn't think was going to work, but she was going to try anyways. Like sometimes you have to try some stuff to get stuff out of your house, to get stuff out of your the spiritual aspects of the environment of your family. Like sometimes you got to give it a whirl. Like if it means trying a different app to find out what your kids are on the computer, and like if you're going to have to try different ways of monitoring the way you use your phone, and like that might work, might not work. But there are things that need to come out, and the Lord will show you what those are. So let me tell you just a couple things that will help you. Worship. Worship music helps the spiritual environment. Now, if you're a believer, I'm going to talk believer talk here. We have an enemy, and he is the prince of the air. But you have authority over your air. You have authority over the things that belong to you. And if you're the owner, then they belong to you. We know God from yesterday is the owner of all things, but he's been given us things to tend to and cultivate. And one of those things is the spiritual atmosphere that we live in. So worship music is one of those ways. Play worship music. Some of the music we shouldn't be listening to. But you know what? Let the Lord lead you on what that music is. Okay. Another one is, get the strife out of the relationships and the emotional atmosphere of your home. Now, when I say that, if you have teenagers or if you have any kids at all, or maybe you're going through a rough patch in your marriage, like I said, we're going to talk about marriage next month. But you know what? And that's normal. And the enemy's certainly going to try to make that happen. But sweetie, you know what? It requires your attention. That's all. It requires your attention. And you've been given authority in your relationships and in your home and in your marriage to cultivate the fruits of the Spirit, to cultivate and you use the armor of God, and you use the Word of God, and you use the methods of God. So if you don't know what those are to make those relationships work, then, it may be time for a call to the Mom Mentor. It may be time for a DM with a question on our mom community to ask them, I don't know what to do about this, and get some good advice. Prayer obviously is amazing, and we want to do that and ask the Holy Spirit to enlighten us on what we can change and what we can help others change in their relationships. But get that strife out of the relationships in your own home. That kind of cleans it out. And then there's a freshness. There's not that tension. So when you find it, deal with it. Get it out. All right. Then the last thing is to freshen up daily. Okay. I really am one of those women that I tidy up as I go. So that's kind of how I've always done it. I wasn't a super organized or clean person as I was growing up. And I married a man that is likes everything just the way it is. He's an engineer, and I love that about him. And it challenges me to be better at organizing. So I decided the way I was going to do it was I was just going to tidy up as I went. Well, you know what? As you cultivate your home and have a sweet fragrance in that home and have the peace that surpasses understanding in that home, as you are a cultivator of your home, clean up as you go. Tidy up as you go. That means not only physically tidy up as you go, but spiritually. Take time to keep your own spiritual health clean, your own self clean by prayer, and pray for your family. It is not to be neglected that we continue to work on our home and our family. We've kind of gotten away from that, thinking, oh, this is our home, and he works and I work and the kids are at school, and we come home in the evening and we kind of spend some time together and we watch some TV and we might eat at home, we might not eat at home, and then we go out and do the thing that we really want to do. I have a teaching on that. This is the most important thing, the family. It's important to God because people are important to God, and these are the people that were given to you by God. So I hope that you will enjoy cultivating your home so that you can, like Hezekiah, clean it out and leave a legacy that will smell good to the generations that come, that will be a blessing to the generations that have come. All right, that's it, little mama. I hope you've enjoyed this. On Thursday, I am having a special guest in our mom class. Our mom class is we're going to have the Mom of Influence, and her name is Brooke Saylor. I'm real excited. Brooke wrote a book called I'm Failing at This Thing Called Home. Y'all, she is an amazing, amazing girl. Well, she's a woman. And I want you to just glean stuff from her. And we're going to be talking all things cultivating home. And it won't be in the mom community. It will be you have to register for the class so I can send you a link because it's a virtual classroom. And you kind of just can go in there and watch and ask questions and kind of like raise your hand like the teacher and all that. And Brooke and I will be talking all things home. And then if you register, you will also get my bundle for the week. And the bundle the bundles are usually pretty good. And it has lots of stuff in it. And you will also, Brooke will have a little something that you can get from her too. So registering for these mom classes are necessary, but I think it'll be a blessing for you. And you can use it one day when you think, I gotta clean up the spiritual atmosphere of this house. But anyways, we're going to be talking the physical and reality things of making a home, cultivating a home to make it amazing. So we don't have to fail at it. We can actually succeed at it. Because you know what? Moms like us have homes that smell good. That's it, little mama. I will talk to you tomorrow and register for that mom class. That'll be Thursday morning at 10 o'clock. And oh, I forgot to tell you, it's free. Yeah, all those are free. Talk to you later.